Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. On Snapchat, I asked you guys out of these 3 cushions that I had up for testing, which one you guys wanted me to do today. Of course, this is not going to come out the day that I am filming this, but I didn't know which one to test today. So, it seems like everyone wanted me to try out the TonyMoly BCDation moisture cover cushion. This cushion, this is the box. Here's the packaging. This cushion is actually only, what was it, 5,900 won? That's like less than $6. So this is really affordable. Now, after this review, if you're interested in the foundation, I will say in Korea, yes, it's less than $6, but if you're gonna be buying online, I'll have to find a link. There's probably not gonna be free shipping. It depends on where I find it, but you're probably gonna be paying more in shipping than this, so keep that in mind. It comes in 2 shades. This one is skin beige and this one's warm beige. TonyMoly, I feel like, is one of those brands that, like, when people think of Korean makeup, they're like, oh god, Koreans, they always wear makeup that's way too light for their skin. I feel like TonyMoly is in the fault for that. I feel like their foundations tend to be on the much light. Of course, this is okay for pale skinned individuals, but I feel like for like most of Korea, I feel like TonyMoly, the packaging is a lot smaller than other cushions compared to TonyMoly's other cushions. So I guess that has to do with like the price cut. Standard packaging, actually it's quite sleek, even though it feels really cheap. The design is pretty nice. You get a decently sized mirror, and then you get your, you get your sticker here. And then your product here. Here, let me swatch what both colors look like, even though they're probably both like, one is in white and the other's in less white. So the one on this side is light beige, and this is in warm beige. I'm pretty sure I'm warm beige. Let's hope so. I've got these 2 things I really need to cover, so we'll see how this does. We'll see how she does. Oh, sorry, forgot the claims. This base cushion keeps makeup flawless and moisturized for a long time due to its moisture ingredient. So I guess it claims to be long wearing and moisturizing. So let's hope to God, because those are like my dream things when it comes to cushions. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm out of focus. Okay. Do you hear them fighting? Woo! So there's one light-ish layer on this side. It's a pretty good color match. Here's without, and here's with. The finish is I guess natural. This one light layer is, I would say, is like a medium pushing towards a little light coverage. Let me try building it up a little bit more. Oh, by the way, last night I shaved my face. I dermaplaned my face so I don't have any peach fuzz. I feel like that can also disrupt the look of makeup sometimes. And I didn't change my skincare today, and I also didn't wear sunscreen. Alright, there's another layer. Still hasn't really covered my blemish. But in a real world, in like a regular setting, I would put concealer over it. But other than that, it looks pretty skin-like. It didn't really cover my pores. I feel like I still see my pores right here. Right there, can you see? So, I didn't really fill that in. Let me just do the other side now. And there we have it on the other side. So overall, I like the way it looks. I'm not like blown away because of coverage. For me, I feel like this would be great for people with like just need to even out their skin tone. You can build up, because I'm building it up, but it's not looking cakey. It still looks like skin, which is a good thing. But I can still see, like blemishes here and there. Let me try one more time to build the coverage up all over. So there it is, all over. I tried to build it up as much as I could. I'm very happy with like how this looks. This is how I would normally wear a cushion, and I really like the texture. It feels really nice. One concern I usually have with cushions that claim to be moisturizing is that they have trouble sticking to the skin, like when you're patting it in. It's almost like the motion of you touching your skin with a puff. Even though you're applying product, it's like lifting off the product that you put on your skin already. Does that make sense? Like, it's almost like if you've seen that Etude House BB Balm review, when I touched my face and I swiped it and it like came off. I almost sometimes feel like cushions with moisturizing properties do that. But this one, like, it's stuck to the skin, it adhered to the skin really well, which is a factor that I really look after in new base products. I need to make sure it really sticks to the skin, because that's what will help longevity of it. The Etude House BB Balm, which was terrible, already started sticking to my fine lines almost immediately upon application. But this one, of course, it's sticking to like my really deep, like I guess you could call them wrinkles even now, lines under my eyes, but hasn't done it. It feels very, it's quite moist, but it's not too as you can obviously tell, it's not too like glowy, too dewy, not like that greasy kind of glow. It feels very, it's like creating a film on top of the skin. If that makes any sort of sense. It just feels really, it feels like a long wearing foundation, but it feels more like it's moisturizing because, again, many long wearing foundations can tend to be very drying, so this doesn't feel like that. But for now, I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back. This is just an observation, but one thing I noticed was, remember the swatches on the back of my hand? I actually didn't wipe them off, but what I noticed is that they set, but they don't go into like the fine. I know it's just like the back of my hand. The back of my hand is fine, but I noticed it doesn't set into like the really fine lines, which is a good thing. So let's hope that it stays that way throughout the day. Right now it is 2:04 in the afternoon. I'm running late, so I need to go outside, but I'll take you along with me and we'll see how it wears. Y'all see this lady? Look at her. She's getting her shots. She's getting her shots. It's not exactly outside, but it's, what time is it? Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. No. Hi, I'm back at home. It's 7:35 in the evening. I literally just like went to the cafe to meet Joan and came back home. So it has to, I mean, it's been like, I suppose I feel like most foundations have like a lasting power of like 6 or so. Let me close the window. I've ordered for what I feel like is the average wear time for a foundation, but of course, as you guys know, I like to wear my foundations for a long, like basically all day, and that's usually my benchmark for foundations. But I have to say, I'm quite impressed. Again, I did not powder it. I left it alone as it is. I was smiling and laughing quite a lot today, so I hope you can see it here. Right here. Can you see it? It's kind of like, not creasing. It's like the opposite of creasing, because with creasing, it's where like the makeup bunches in the crack or like the wrinkle, but it's the opposite where it kind of disappears from that crack or whatever. It sounds weird, but it's doing that a little bit, but surprisingly, it's not even like getting into my fine lines or which a lot of foundations tend to do, and it doesn't look too oily. Like, this is a pretty glow, I think. So I'm thoroughly impressed by this foundation. From my impression from today, I feel like this is gonna have to go like top shelf, and it's less than $6, which is amazing because lately I'm at fault for starting. I've been talking about a lot. I've been using a lot of slightly more expensive makeup lately, so I think this is a great. Well, so far from what I see, it seems like a really great option. And the thing is, when I was outside, I'm sorry, I need to touch up this fucking. I'm sorry. When I was outside, because my skin type is generally oily, but I feel like whenever I go outside, like today was very cold, very windy, so like the cold air was blasting my face. Whenever I'm in cold conditions, my skin suddenly becomes dry. I don't get it. So with that being said, my foundation can end up looking how it would on a person with dry skin, which I've seen before, so I guess I'm familiar with it, or I at least know what it looks like. So it can end up looking like that, but surprisingly, it didn't do that despite it being cold outside, which is a problem that I tend to have in the winter. In the summer, my skin is just oily. It's just oily. But in the winter, if I'm outside, I run the risk of my skin becoming almost like dry. So my foundation will go through the rings of like what it would be like if I had really dry skin. But surprisingly, it was able to withstand both conditions, my oily skin and like when my skin is dry when I was outside. So of course, that's just my experience, but I really like it. I guess the coverage came off a little bit on like my blemishes. Here, let me pat this hoe out. I would take that into consideration. My skin is although I do have like the scars, I have like the bumpiness, I will say, I will give it that my skin is quite smooth, like to the touch. I wouldn't say like, not like the surface is smooth, but like it feels soft. So for a person with like quite bumpy skin from like acne, I would set it, because sometimes blemishes just like the very top of a blemish sometimes it just has a hard time holding on to like makeup. That's definitely something to take into consideration. Or use your favorite concealer that, will last on top of a blemish, maybe like a cream concealer, or if anything, just set it. It doesn't claim to be glowy or dewy or whatever. It just claims that it provides moisture, which I feel like it did its job. It didn't cause any more oiliness in my skin. It didn't make my skin any more greasy, but it just didn't look dry, which is what I like in a foundation. I want it to have enough moisture in it so that it will remain looking like skin, but it's not gonna cause more oil on my oily skin. I give it a thumbs up. I know I only tested it today, but for $6, less than $6, at least if we're talking about minus shipping, if you live in a foreign country, or not foreign country, if you live in a different country, I will give it a try. If you haven't tried any cushions, I would give this one a shot. The only downside is that it only comes in 2 shades, which is it's a shame. So if it's too light for your skin, maybe try setting it with a deeper powder, like get a powder foundation that's your skin tone, or maybe even a little bit darker to counteract the lightness of the foundation. But if you are able to fit into one of the 2 shades, I think it's got a thumbs up from Edward. So I'll try to find a link for it and put it down in the info box for you below. And with that being said, I will see you in my next video. Bye.